there, musicians! Are you ready to explore the last group of instruments? Any idea what it is? It's the Woodwind family. Check out all of these woodwind instruments. I have to be honest with you. The woodwind family is different from the other families. The instruments in it all look really unique. So why are they all in this family? What makes them woodwinds? Let's figure it out. This flute player and this clarinet player are both playing woodwind instruments. Do you see any common characteristics that explain why they are both in the woodwind family? Well, both players are pressing on keys or covering holes with their fingers. That changes the instrument's pitch. All woodwinds have some way to change the pitch. What else do they have in common? Aha! Each player is blowing into their instrument. All of the instruments in the woodwind family need air blown into them to make a sound. But if woodwinds are played by blowing air into the instrument, why not just put them in one family with the brass instruments? What do you think? Good ideas. It's because of the mouthpiece and the embouchure. Brass players shape their embouchure to send air straight into the instrument's tube through the mouthpiece. Can you remind me what an embouchure is? Right! It's the shape of the player's lips. Embouchure is how the player directs air into their mouthpiece. Woodwinds need different embouchures from brass instruments because they have different types of mouthpieces. So they can't all be grouped together. Let's look at the clarinetist and flutist again. They are using different types of embouchures. How would you describe the flute players? She has her lower lip pulled in, allowing her to direct air across the solid metal mouthpiece. It's like blowing across the top of a bottle. What about the clarinet player's embouchure? The mouthpiece is actually in her mouth, and her lips are wrapped around it. Why do you think that is? The clarinet player shapes her embouchure differently than the flute player because the mouthpiece for a clarinet has a special attachment called a reed. It's a thin piece of wood that vibrates when the player blows air over it. Without the reed, the clarinet won't make any sound. All woodwind instruments are divided into categories based on the mouthpiece they have. All of the flutes have a solid mouthpiece. All of the reeds have, well, a reed. In your guided notes, there are some instruments that need to be categorized as flutes or reeds. Look carefully at each instrument's mouthpiece. If you think the instrument has a solid mouthpiece, write its name under flutes. If an instrument has a reed, write it under reeds. Pause the video while you sort them out. Press play when you are ready. Check your answers. Under flutes, you should have the piccolo and the pan flute. In the reeds column, the saxophone and oboe should be listed. Do your categories match? Fantastic! Okay, so we know woodwinds are either reeds or flutes, depending on their mouthpiece. That's what makes woodwinds different from brass instruments. Why is any of this important for us? Oh, that's a good thought. I'll give you a clue. It has to do with the timbre. Listen to this recorder, a kind of flute. What kind of timbre does it have? It's sweet sounding, clear and gentle. Compare it to the oboe, one of the reeds. Can you think of any words to describe its timbre? It's a bit nasally, more buzzy, but still bright. Why do you think the oboe sounds so different from the recorder? It's the reed. Whether or not an instrument has a reed on its mouthpiece totally changes how it sounds. So if you know whether an instrument is a type of flute or reed, you can better predict what it will sound like. Let's play a little game to see whether you can hear the difference between flutes and reeds. I'm going to play a sound and show two instruments on screen, one flute and one reed. Use what you know about woodwinds and timbre to figure out which one you're hearing. You can circle your choices in your guided notes. We'll do 3 rounds. Ready? It's flutes versus reeds round 1. The choices are a piccolo and a clarinet. Here's the sound. Listen one more time and circle your choice. All right, the first instrument was the piccolo. Round 2. The choices are a flute or a saxophone. Here's the sound. One more time. Okay, the second instrument was the saxophone. I think round 3 needs a challenge, a third option. You're still going to hear one instrument, but this time it might be a flute, a reed, or neither of those. Get ready. Round 3. The choices are a tin whistle in the flute category, a bassoon in the reeds category, or a violin, which is neither. Use everything you know about timbre to help you decide. Here's the sound. Listen again. It's a tin whistle, a type of flute. How did you do? Did you guess correctly for all 3 rounds? Way to go! Wow, you have done some fantastic work today exploring the woodwind family. And now we've covered all the instrument families: percussion, strings, brass, and woodwinds. In our next lesson, we'll dive into how they all come together to create an orchestra. See you next time. Hey, hey.